Fundraiser. I'm the treasurer and one of the founders of Tampa Bay Exceptional Women, and as we call it, TBU. Every year in Women's International Day, we use the proceeds to help different organizations that help women and children around our community. This year, we decided to give our proceeds to CASA Pinellas, which helps with domestic violence, and we're very excited to be able to help them. We encourage you all to join us and become a member of our amazing organization that helps others. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the third annual Tampa Bay Exceptional Women Organization nonprofit event. It is a privilege to be here with such an inspiring group of individuals who share our passion for giving back to the community, empowering women, and making a difference. We started 2 years and 3 months ago, and look how much we have achieved. I would first want to start with acknowledgement, because without all those people, we wouldn't have been able to do that. I want to recognize Linda, who is our Vice President. Ilani, who is our Treasurer. Terry, can you? This is Terry. If you get emails about membership, that's Terry. And of course, without all you guys, we couldn't have made it. So thank you so much. You're all appreciated. So the first year, when we started, we chose Downing services. Remember that? The last year, I wasn't here, but we chose Redefined Refuge. Natasha is not here, she was supposed to come here. And then this year we have CASA. And Linda is going to talk more about it. Thank you so much for being here.
Good evening, everyone. It's a true honor to be here today, celebrating this special event with all of you. As we gather to recognize and uplift women, I wanted to extend our deepest gratitude to those who made this event possible. First, and heartfelt thank you to our sponsors. Your generosity and support have made this gathering possible, and we are so grateful for your partnership. We're especially thankful to our gold sponsors, whose contribution has been vital. American booking sites, not only for their sponsorship, but also for creating the website for our nonprofit, Tampa Bay Exceptional Women. Their expertise in creating websites and marketing has been invaluable to us and to all that use their services. And it's Liat's son that helped us with it, so it's amazing. It's a beautiful website, if you haven't seen it. Janice Rodriguez of LPT Realty, a trusted realtor with over 20 years of experience, who has been serving the Tampa Bay area with dedication and who has been our supporter for the past 3 years. Ozisic PLC, a business immigration law firm that provides essential services to companies and families and happily supported our event for the past 2 years. Adele Sandra Burnett, a remarkable woman whose legacy lived on through her generous donation to over 100 charities, impacting our community in meaningful ways, and whom I was lucky to know personally from my first shop. We are also grateful to our silver sponsors whose support has been instrumental. Panel Decor, elevating interior with beautiful decorative panels. They have stores in a few locations, and we are fortunate to have Cassania as our network member and here tonight. Professional pet care consulting, ensuring pets receive the best care possible. Lindsay is one of our newest network members, and her services are being used by Linda and a few more members around here tonight, and swear by her company for your pets. And she's here as well tonight. Dr. Jillian Glass, a board-certified psychiatrist with over 15 years of experience in treating patients of all ages, a dear friend of mine and a supporter from the start. VNPS, Veterans National Property Services, a trusted roofing contractor in our area. We are lucky to have their support for the past 3 years now. We encourage you all to learn more about these businesses and support those that give back to our community. Lastly, thank you to our members, guests, and volunteers. Your participation is what makes this event so meaningful. To our volunteers, your dedication behind the scenes does not go unnoticed. And to our board and membership members, your passion and commitment continues to inspire us all. Thank you for celebrating with us and for helping make our vision a reality. Liat, our rock and constant source of strength. We can do it. Spirit keeps us going. Thank you for your unwavering support and all your Liatism. Love you so much. That's what we're working on, Liatism. And now please welcome our Vice President, Linda, one of my closest friends, whose dedication and devotion and passion are truly invaluable for our organization. Love you, Linda. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you both very much. Tonight we gather to celebrate the incredible power of women and remarkable impact we can make when we come together with a shared vision. Over the past 3 years, this event has grown into a vibrant community of women dedicated to empowering one another, uplifting our voices, and rising together to face challenges and seize opportunities. Each one of you plays a vital role in this journey, and it's heartwarming to see the bonds we've formed and achievements we've celebrated. Empowerment. It's at the heart of a mission. We strive to create an environment where every woman feels confident, supported, and inspired to pursue her dreams. Upliftment is what makes our community so special. By lifting each other up, we create a network of support that strengthens us all. Whether it's through mentorship, collaboration, or simply lending a listening ear, the connections we make here have power to transform lives. And together we rise. We rise above obstacles, rise to meet challenges, and rise to new heights of achievement. Our collective strength is a testament to the resilience and determination of women. Tonight, let's celebrate our victories and look forward to the bright future we are building together. Before we bring up our guest speaker, we have one friendly reminder that we do have our silent auction going on. Please take a moment to get out there, bid, and bid big. A lot of this is all going to CASA Pinellas, so it's a great way to support. Now it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for the evening. Lariana Forsythe is the CEO of CASA Pinellas, an official domestic violence center providing life-changing services to women, children, and men living with domestic violence. Under Lariana's leadership, CASA has received various national and program launches. Lariana has made an extraordinary impact through her dedication to supporting survivors and creating safer communities. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to tonight's guest speaker, Lariana Forsythe.
So I am thrilled to be here with you tonight to celebrate International Women's Week and Tampa Bay's Exceptional Women. This is amazing. So thank you for having me here and so on. All right. So I'm going to start tonight's talk by what you might think is a little bit of a bold claim. I am going to say that every single person in this room has been directly impacted by domestic violence. Some of us are survivors of domestic violence. Others currently are in a relationship that involves emotional or physical abuse, but their lives are so entangled that they don't know how to escape. Others still are unaware of the patterns in that relationship that suggest it will ultimately become unsafe. 1 in 3 women will become victims of domestic violence in their lifetime. That's 1 in 3 of us in this room tonight. Others grew up in a domestic violence home. Many of us watched our fathers belittle and abuse our mothers, or maybe it was the other way around. 7% of our community's children are living in homes with domestic violence, and of those children, 90% actually witness physical violence. It may surprise you to learn that witnessing domestic violence as a child is concretely linked to impacting a person's long-term physical health. We're talking heart disease, heart attacks, cancer, things like that. And children witnessing domestic violence often grow up to repeat the pattern, either as abusers or as victims. Others in this room may have a sister that they have watched tormented, or a friend who is completely pulled away with excuses that you think might not be real, a neighbor whose screams that you've heard in the middle of the night. Maybe you offered to help. Most people don't know how. And in the statistical improbability that none of these scenarios have ever occurred in your life, you are still paying an incredibly high price for domestic violence, quite literally. Across the nation, domestic violence-related calls to the police make up the largest single category of calls for service, accounting for at least 15% to 50% of all calls made to 911. Emergency services are really expensive for our communities, and they're also highly deadly. Not just for the victims, but 40% of law enforcement deaths are related to domestic violence calls. And so are incidences of mass violence. The majority of mass shootings in our country are committed by somebody who has a history of domestic violence or grew up in a domestic violence home. 68% of mass shootings have a domestic violence tie. Domestic violence is an insidious community disease that has long lived in the shadows and privacy of our homes. It's not about anger management, substance abuse, or even crazy love. Power and control tactics lie at the heart of domestic violence. Many, and I would speculate that most victims, don't even understand that they are experiencing domestic violence until it has invaded every fabric of their lives, and it's so entwined that they don't see a way out. And that's what happened to me. Prior to waking up in a hospital bed with a chart that said domestic violence victim, I never would have labeled myself that way. And I had no idea that help was available to me. I understood that smashing holes in our walls, or smashing our baby's furniture, stalking me, vandalizing my things, belittlement, scare tactics, all this stuff. I understood that this was all really bad behavior, but I thought it was a result of my ex-husband's alcoholism, or as he often told me, was my fault for being such an inflexible bitch. It seems really silly to me now, but he hadn't hit me, and so I didn't know that those patterns of these awful behaviors had another name. I divorced my husband to try and escape these bad behaviors, but we had children in common, which meant that he could still exhibit power and control over me. Once I even called the police information desk, and the officer pleaded with me to file a report on my ex-husband. He had smashed through the back door of my house, and I thought about it, but the anxiety that occurred about what he would do if I actually filed a police report stopped me in my tracks. But I wish when I had called the police that day that the officer would have explained that the pattern that I was experiencing was domestic violence. I wish I could have talked to someone who would have told me what I know now, that it wasn't crazy, that what I was experiencing was actually very common, that there was a pattern, that it was likely to escalate, and that I was in serious danger. Not long after that call, my ex-husband attacked me in front of our 2 young sons. He tackled me to the ground, he beat me, and he strangled me to unconsciousness. By the grace of God, I did wake up. But when he realized that I had come to, he tackled me again. He tackled me with a force the doctors explain as a 70-mile-per-hour car accident. It shoved my entire leg out the back of my hip. He beat me severely. He chewed my ear off of my face, repeatedly slammed my head. Our 2 little boys ran for help. And if they hadn't, there's no doubt in my mind that I would be standing here tonight. When I woke up in that hospital room, a few profound things happened. First, despite the pain and the extensive injuries and surgeries that would keep me in the hospital for over a month, I was overwhelmed with peace and joy. I wouldn't walk again for months. I couldn't go to the bathroom. Every part of me was black and blue and stitched and bandaged. But for the first time in almost a decade, I felt free. The second thing is I finally had that explanation, a name for what I was experiencing. When I woke up in that hospital bed with domestic violence victim on the chart, it was incredibly liberating for me. But it also unraveled for me the deep, dark secret of domestic violence, which continues to be the inspiration for the work that I do today. That domestic violence thrives because of the shame and stigma that keeps victims silent. During my month at the hospital, the police officer who had arrested my husband came to visit me. She closed the door. She shared her story of a domestic violence relationship with a fellow police officer and how she escaped. There was a nurse who, in a whisper, told me her domestic violence story. There was a technician who told me that he was never going to get married and have children of his own because he didn't want to grow up to be like his father. The hospital pastor visited me every single day, and it wasn't until the last day when I was being exited from the hospital that she burst into tears and asked my advice about what she should do to escape the abuse of her husband. In total, 9 people in that hospital cathartically shared their stories with me, a complete stranger who was safe with their dark secrets because I wore the scarlet letter of domestic violence on my hospital chart. And it's that shame and stigma that has fueled my passion to bring awareness to domestic violence and to serve survivors in a way that begins to free them from situations that they aren't able yet to see a way out of. But I tell you, there is so much work to do. Today, I have the privilege of serving as the CEO of CASA, which is an acronym for Community Action Stops Abuse. Not only am I passionate about domestic violence, but I spent my career in nonprofit management and fund development. CASA operates one of the largest emergency shelters in the state of Florida. We shelter roughly 85 people every single night, half of whom are children. Our shelter is always full, but it doesn't even begin to meet the needs of our community. Between Hillsborough and Pinellas counties, what we call Tampa Bay, there were 20 domestic violence murders last year. Every week, law enforcement in the Tampa Bay area will receive more than 250 domestic calls. National data tells us that 70% of cases are never even reported. If you do the math, and I don't expect anybody to do that because we're all drinking wine, that's more than 833 people experiencing domestic violence at least every single week. Our system for dealing with these issues is, of course, named the criminal justice system, not the victim justice system, where victims are absolutely an afterthought and very easily displaced and forgotten. They are terrified, having experienced extreme trauma, and yet we expect them to just hold it all together while they pick up the pieces of their shattered lives and navigate this system that most go to law school to understand. It's disjointed, totally overwhelming, incredibly stressful, and it just doesn't work. So I don't know how much of the video you could hear or see, but to access the services that a survivor needs, they will typically have to travel 20 times, tell their story 17 times, fill out 289 pages of paperwork, miss nearly 53 hours from work, all while juggling their normal day-to-day lives. It's a lot to expect from somebody who's just been through the most horrific ordeal of their life. And so at CASA, we knew that there had to be a better way. So 2.5 years ago, we opened Florida's only Family Justice Center. And what is that, and what does it do? This life-saving model was started in San Diego, and it just makes sense. We have 12 partners that are co-located on our site at the Family Justice Center, so that a survivor only has to fill out one intake pack of work. She works with the case manager to understand all of her options. While her children are in trauma-informed on-site daycare, she can meet with all of the partners that she chooses to. She can file a police report. She can work with the state's attorney's office. She can get an injunction for protection, which is a restraining order, family law, immigration law support, mental health support, all sorts of services in one place. It's innovation like this that has allowed CASA to serve nearly 1,800 people at our Family Justice Center alone just last year. We rehoused into their own safe housing 1,500 survivors and provided more than 2,000 legal services, and that's in addition to the 23,378 bed nights that we provided at our emergency shelter. And please remember, everything we do is free and confidential. Impressed by CASA's success, 1.5 years ago, the state of Florida approached us to take over a certified domestic violence center in Marion County. It's about 2 hours north where the city of Ocala is. The organization there had failed and services had been suspended, meaning that survivors had nowhere to go for help. And in all honesty, the geography doesn't make any sort of sense at all, but our team is committed to making sure that anybody who needs domestic violence services has access to them. So we created a brand new organization called CASA Marion. It has its own budget. We share back-end function, and we now have opened a shelter and are offering full services in Marion County. These are just a few of our organization's amazing achievements that I am really, really proud of. And as we sit here tonight celebrating International Women's Week, the success that I've just shared, and I know the many things that you all have accomplished. I heard just a few of them as we started this evening. It's amazing everything you've done to earn a seat here tonight at Tampa Bay Exceptional Women. But please remember that our work is not done. I've shared with you tonight just a very small part of my story. What I didn't share is that my personal attorney was kicked out of my ex-husband's arraignment because the judge was so poorly trained on domestic violence, they didn't know that I had a right to my own counsel. I didn't share that my father was asked by the prosecutor in the final court hearing to give the victim's statement because I was too emotional. I didn't share that I spent years litigating custody after my ex-husband was released from jail. A felon who attempted to murder me in front of our children. They were terrified of him and terrified of becoming like him, and yet his rights were more important than ours. What I hadn't shared, and what we face every day at CASA, is that overwhelming systemic oppression continues today and threatens the opportunity for freedom from abuse. And so tonight, my ask for you is simple as we leave this amazing event. Please take CASA's 1-hour free virtual training of how to be a better bystander. Learn how to start having non-judgmental conversations with your friends, your coworkers, or even family, asking if they feel safe at home when you notice that something is off. When you read in the newspaper about another murder-suicide, recognize that that's code for domestic violence. These are small steps that you can make to start shattering the shame and stigma that keeps so many victims in danger. You have the power to make systemic change in our community. Together we can create safe, supportive, collaborative resources for those in need. When I look at all of you in this room tonight, I see an amazing group of women who are dedicated to making the world around them a better place, which is something that is truly remarkable and something we should all be incredibly proud of. Celebrate this trait in yourself tonight and the amazing things that you do in our community as exceptional women. Thank you very much.
Right now, it's time to turn the spotlight onto something truly fabulous. pleasure of introducing someone very special to us and to me. Please join me in welcoming the Regional Manager of Arden Bridal Boutique and AB2B Boutique, Jessica Rios.
Hi everyone. We wanted to show you just a small, tiny little sampling of what we have in both of our stores. The Arden Bridal and Boutique, if you don't know, we're in West Shore Plaza. And the AB2B Boutique is located in Countryside Mall. So we're on both sides of the bay. We have dresses for all occasions. It doesn't matter if it's a gala or a banquet, or you're going on a cruise and you need something for formal night. You're attending a wedding, you're in a wedding, whatever the occasion is, we will have something for you. And we also have tuxedos and suits as well. We're open 7 days a week for your convenience, and you can find us also online at Arden Bridal on Instagram or at AB2B Boutique on Instagram for that page.
I'd like to bring Ebony back onto the stage to award some more raffle winners. Grab your tickets, ladies.